All right, Tigers, how we doing today? Podcast for Monday, the 27th. This is what the schedule looks like. We're going to do shifts in supply, and then Tuesday's an in-service day. Nothing for you to do all Tuesday. Wednesday's a pause day. I'll hold office hours, but probably not going to have too many questions on this point. Okay? Thursday and Friday, shifters of supply, and then producer surplus. As you can see, next week looks like a quiz on probably the 7th. Okay? So if you have any other issues with that, please let me know, but otherwise that's where we're going to go. Okay, so the focus today, guys, are shifts in supply, okay? So what we want to talk about is a change in the quantity supplied. Means that as a price falls or rises, producers produce either less or more of the same product. Remember? So when price goes up, right, let's make sure we have this here, right? Right, price goes up, quantity supplied, right? And price goes down, and quantity supplied. And I'll just sort of use arrows here to make sure we're clear about this point. Right? It's right here. As price goes up, the quantity supplied is going to go up. And as price goes down, the quantity supplied is going to go down. Okay? So draw a simple supply curve. And so when there's an increase in quantity and a decrease in quantity. Well, look. An increase in quantity would move the supply curve. Okay, so look, here's a little point here. Oops. Sorry. Here's a little point right here. Okay, here's a little point right here. And here's a little point right here. Right? Remember, just like we talked about with demand. Okay? That's point A. That's point B. And that's point C. Right? Any increase, right, in the quantity supplied is going to go from A to B. It's going to slide along the curve. Any decrease in quantity supplied is going to slide along the curve, going from A to C. We're just going to move this way. A change in supply, however, says that at each of the various prices, producers will make more or less of the product than before. An increase in supply means at each level, producers supply more output. So not A to B, we're moving from A to, I don't know, pick a line here, D, right, at that point right there. And the whole curve is going to move out to this green curve right here. Or if something happens where supply moves in, okay, supply will move from A to E and be along this blue curve at this point, right? So you should be able to do this at this point. Now note this understanding point here, okay? And this is really a big deal to focus on with supply. Sometimes people say, and I'm going to try to be the best I can with this, an increase or a decrease in supply. Note, here is the original supply curve. An increase in supply is this one over here. Okay? Meaning the supply curve moved out. And you're going to hear me say that all the time. Over here, this blue curve, guys, is the decrease. Meaning the supply curve, whoops, moved in. Let me just, give me a second here, right? There. So the key point is this. This curve is above this curve. It's higher than this curve. That doesn't mean that's an increase in supply. Remember, an increase in supply always moves out. Okay, let me do this right so you can see it. It moves out. Okay? An increase in supply moves in. Left is in, right is out. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Right? That's how it should be. All the way throughout, right? Okay. So how does this relate? Let's go to our falafel factory. Okay? Love it. Okay? I think Mr. Joel talked about falafel and shawarma sometime because he was in the Iron Man, right? Okay. So the question is this. How many dozens per day of falafel should you make? If it costs me 50 cents to make this stuff, if it costs me 75, it costs me $1, right? So the question is this. At 60 cents, how many should I supply? Well, the simple answer is I should supply 1,000, right? If I supply 1,001, I'm going to lose money because that 1,001st dozen of falafel is going to cost me 75 cents. I know I'm only losing 15 cents, but I don't want to lose anything. Okay? If the price is 80 cents, let me just move this over real quick here. Okay? If the price is 80 cents, I should produce 2,000 falafel. If the price is 40 cents, I shouldn't make a damn thing. Because if it costs me 50 cents to do something and I'm only making 40, don't do it, right? Shutdown. We talked about that shutdown position earlier, and we were talking about the cost curves throughout, right? Okay, so why is this so relevant here, right? Let's do some more shifting. Okay, here's the price of cereal. So like we did before, we're just going to do some random dots, dot, not random, I'm sorry, not random at all, but dot, right? And I'm going to get my line guy, and we're going to try and connect the dots as best we can. Whoops. Right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my supply curve, right? Okay. What if new companies start making cereal? Let's say Ford started making, instead of Honey Nut Cheerios or an O shape, they're an F shape. So Ford makes Fs. I know, stupid, right? But if that happens, that's a new player in the market. So what that means is that you're going to have extra things going on. So the reason why this is so pertinent and relevant right now, look, imagine this is the natural gas and the oil market right now. People aren't driving a lot due to these issues of the coronavirus, correct? Yes or no? So imagine that, you know, here is the surface of the earth. This is below the earth, right? And you're drilling for natural gas or oil, right? Well, now that people aren't using it, you're not going to drill super deep looking for all of this oil and natural gas because people aren't driving as much right now. So you're only going to come over here. You're only going to do easy drilling, ones that you don't have to drill very deep, you don't have to spend a lot of money on because it's just not a very high in demand product right now. A friend of mine lives in Wisconsin, so the price of gallon of gas is 89 cents right now. Okay, but as the price of gas rebounds and prices go to $2 a gallon, $3 a gallon, $4 a gallon, whatever, you'll start digging more because the price encourages you to find more gasoline and supply more gasoline at that point. Okay, so look, suppose a new company that we're talking about produces 20 bucks of cereal at every price. So now I just move the curve out. Okay, my quantity supplied increased at each and every point. This is a shift in supply. More cereal is offered for sale at every price. The supply curve moves out. Okay, and you notice I write the word out, and I get my little arrow guy, and I go like this. It's an outward shift. Now I know which way it's going. Okay, an increase in supply. Prices didn't change. More cereal at each and every point, right? Look, what if there's a drought? Okay, well, at each and every price, right, prices move in. If the ingredients for cereal, oats, wheat, corn, marshmallows, right, move in, s'more stuff, right, then that's going to cause this entire curve to move in. And it's just not going to be worth it to buy something at that point. Okay, suppose a drought causes the cost of producing cereal to increase such that producers will produce 10 fewer boxes at every point. Okay, so here we go. Fewer at every point. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 0. They're just not going to do it, right? And if you see at $1, and I didn't really bring this in at that point, there's a supply curve. Okay, this is a decrease or a shift in supply. Okay, less cereal is being produced at each and every price. Okay, so if cereal companies found a more efficient way to make cereal, absolutely, we want that. Because what would happen? Okay, if there's increased efficiency, would it move the curve in or out? In or out? And I hope you guys are saying that the correct answer is it would move the curve out. I'm just going to put some dots up here, right? Because a change in technology, making things more manageable to move, will cause a supply curve. Where's my guy? To move out. Okay? And notice, every time there's an arrow, and there's the wording right then and there, right? Okay, remember. Arrow in left. Arrow out right. Notice I'm trying not to say an increase or a decrease in supply. I'm going to do my really best to try and do that throughout that point. That's it for today. Next podcast will be Thursday. You guys have a great rest of the day. Go Tigers.